I don't know if this is actually working like it should be, but I did start a stream early in the morning because I am not tired in the slightest, and oh no, what have I done? Seems to be working. Right. Nice. Okay. Uh-oh. Alright. Now. This is super early in the morning, and I realize that most people are not me and are not night owls and have not been staying up all night, or have just gotten up and are not full of energy like me. Now, one quick little story, one quick tidbit of information before I actually continue with this stream that probably no one will join because this is so early in the morning, and you know, I don't think anybody's really going to want to see this in real time. They're probably going to watch this after this has become a video that YouTube has created. Before I get on to the subject of talking about builds, which is what I so happily said was the topic of this video, I want to say a quick PSA, public service announcement for all of those people that you know do the little PSN Xbox thing, where they get their little equipment together and tell which where your location is. I hope you people know what I'm talking about, because I kind of don't know how to describe it, but those people that basically pinpoint your location with an IP address. Those people who look at your IP or whatever and have technology and equipment to try and kick people out of parties by basically shutting down their internet for whatever temporary amount of time. To those people, I want to say this is this very, very good, crisp, clean thing, is that first off, I am 26 years of age. So I've been around this earth for a little bit, I'm a 26-year-old man, because some people get confused on my gender. Yikes. Anywho, 26-year-old man. Why do I bring this up? It is not to inflate my ego or to prove my masculinity in any way, shape, or form. But if you are those people that have access to such technology and you feel that it gives you some sort of leverage, right? Some sort of leverage, I want to say something to y'all. All those people that think that they're in a position of power here. There is always someone bigger than you, and there is always someone stronger than you in whatever field you happen to be in. Such as, let's take my work in the barbecue restaurants, for instance. There's someone always better at it than me. And so I will always learn, but I'm always better than somebody else too. Basically, the chain trickles down. Now, don't cause problems for people that have no need to want to have problems caused. If you want them to leave the party, ask them, hey, may you leave the party? I wanted to be between my friend and I. Now, here's the thing. If it was once a public party and then someone hops in and then you switch to private, all's fair and done as well. But if it's a community party, much like the one I'm in now, because I created 3 community parties in order to help out people who need help in Onigiri, then don't get mad, don't get butthurt. It is a public party, and therefore has been created by people to want to get together in a community. Oh, hey, look at that. I know that person. Anyways, so before I get on to the topic of Onigiri, I just really wanted to say that don't act like you're big britches in town. Don't act like you're big man on campus, because eventually what goes around comes around and comes around more. Basically, how you treat somebody is how it will get treated. You will be treated that same way, but double fold. So if you treat somebody with respect and you treat somebody good, you will be treated twice fold. That will be your reward. But if you mistreat people who haven't mistreated you, that's true evil, and that will come back to you twice fold. Maybe not in the same way that you treated those people, not in the same exact manner, but maybe evil will come back and bite you on the butt in a different way that you didn't expect. Now, anyways, because I don't want it to be talking about some off-topic thing that has honestly nothing to do with Onigiri. Well, I mean, semi-related to Onigiri, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point. So now let's talk about builds. With this new recent update in Onigiri, and with Orogiri, Mr. Oro Aurelia himself, actually giving us the rundown on what his opinion is when it comes to pay-to-win mags. You know, those Jade Crest mags and Aqua Breeze Magotamas that have been infecting our 9 Coral Pond this go around. I wanted to offer my opinion not just on those mags, because I don't want to seem like I'm leeching completely off of his idea, but I want to keep it as a broader topic on builds in general, and what I think are good builds and what I think are bad builds. Now, what do I think are good builds? Let's just establish it. The meta, the current meta, how it usually is. You know, 3 105s, and then the 4th mag, whatever you have of your class, then the 3 fuse, then, you know, the 4th mag to help you out, and then 3 Tempest. And with the Tempest meta, it's generally 3 Tempest and a Sparrow, 3 Tempest or a Great Dog, whichever you prefer, basically whatever your poison is. If you want some extra win, choose a Great Dog. If you just don't care and you want to make an endless supply of a Magatama until you get something right, then choose a Sparrow. Because Sparrows are easy to make. You can make a plethora more Sparrows than you can spending out time grinding out Great Dogs or taking them from altar from other people who don't care about the Great Dog Magatama. Now, let's continue. What I think are not good builds. Let's set a precedent. Now, I've been on the Discord server as of late, you know, just running around, causing a ruckus, causing a muck, doing nothing good, just being a hoodlum. Now, I have learned from players who have been studying this game much longer than me, who know the core mechanics of the game better than I probably ever will, because they will be obtaining more experience about the game while I learn a bit more. So if I do match up to their level, that's just being that means they're being lazy and they're not keeping up with the times. Anyways, for the players who are currently more experienced than I am, they have told me, or they have basically agreed, that pay-to-win mags, they're good, but to an extent. What do I mean that they're good, but to an extent? Here's the thing, with these Aqua Breeze Magotamas that have come out, and the Jade Crest Magotamas that have come out, basically pay-to-win Mountain Mag and pay-to-win Wind Mag, what does this necessarily mean for the Onigiri community itself? Not much, really. You can have the Wind Mag, but it's still never going to be as good as an Ilios Hades weapon, which will have a Wind crit factor on it as already, and a Mountain double crit factor on it, I'm pretty sure. So it's not going to be as good as those weapons. It's not going to be as good as a 128 gimmick Odachi weapon that's going to be coming out maybe sometime in the next couple of years. And it's going to be a really good Odachi. But why do I say this? I say this because people think if they have these pay-to-win mags that they're going to be a cut above the rest. That basically their wallet helped them reach a new echelon. It didn't. Newsflash, so sorry, it didn't. You can have 3 Thunder Masteries and a Thunder Mag and a Holy Mag mod, and it still will not outclass other people's builds that they've had already predetermined for them. And so sorry to say, get the Rain pay-to-win mag all you want, a Thunder pay-to-win mag all you want, basically any element pay-to-win mag you want, but your build is still going to be suffering somewhere. What do I mean by this? You can have a mod mag and 3 of another class mag. Such as an example, let's take this Aqua Breeze mag as of late, you know, this Aqua mod mag, and 3 Wind Masteries. While that sounds good on paper, it lacks in attack. It lacks in attack heavily. You could put Inevitable Last Stand ×3 on that thing and it still would not catch up to the strength that Tempest can give you so easily, specifically Odachi Tempest. Now, here's another thing. You could pair it up with a Fused Bear, and you could pair it up with a Fusion Bear. You could, theoretically, you could. Sounds good on paper, except for the fact that you may not be able to ornament certain things the way you want to. With certain builds in this game, I've always known that there are pros and there are cons. Now, with me, I love wind. Wind is like one of my favorite elements that I love to use. Now, recently, I was saving Slicing Slugger 7 and 6 for anything upcoming Odachi-wise. Then I decided, let's go ahead and let's put it on my White Brilliance Twin Swords to see how it will turn out. And it turned out fantastic, because I have a universal build that can go up to 200 wind if I want to, but right now I have it around 130 wind because I put a Chocolate and Lychee in the mix, and as we all know, that takes away 30 wind. So Fusion Bear and 2 Wind Masteries basically takes away the 60 that a Fusion Bear would typically give me, so it only gives me 30 wind, and so then the 2 Wind Masteries give me 50 wind each, making it 130 wind. And I know you're wondering, what about the accessories? I put different accessories in there so I could have extra attack. And I know somebody's going to tell me, don't stack attack. Attack matters. Despite what my profile message says, attack does indeed darn matter. Now let's continue. So I have a universal build and a focus point build. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, why do you have two different win builds? That just seems awfully redundant. It's not. So let me explain. With my Tempest build that some people have seen me around, which consists of a Himono or a colored carp, or my fourth mag generally tends to shift, but the three core mags is Wind Mastery, 2 Tempest, or Wind Mastery and a Nightly, depending upon how it goes. But the core point of my Tempest build is, of course, the 2 Tempest. Now, while the 2 other mags may shift occasionally, usually it's Wind Mastery coupled with the 2 Tempest to give me 150 wind. Now, the Himono gives me extra wind, but if I'm feeling like I need a little bit of an extra attack, I put on the colored carp. If I need slightly bit more crit force and I feel like I need some skill force somehow, then I put on the Sawgu with 28 crit force on it. Now, why do I say all these things? Why are these things being said? Why is everybody probably thinking to myself that you need to go back to sleep? You need to go back to sleep because you're talking way too fast this early in the morning and I can't keep up. Even though the fact that y'all may not be watching this video in real time, and the fact that y'all are watching this in the middle of the night still think that I'm talking way too fast and that I'm mumbling and I'm stumbling over my words, and some people just don't want to keep up with the extreme pace that I'm going. Well, then hit the slow speed on YouTube, because I don't think I'm going to be slowing down at any point. Now to continue, because I feel like I'm getting off topic here. Why do I have 2 different builds? Is because my Tempest build, one of its main focus is wind, but it can also use fire and holy extremely well. When I use my Rev 3, I usually clock in at a 108 holy, and with fire I can usually clock in at 150 fire, 160 fire, depending on what I'm holding. But I can have 100 fire outright between all of my Magatamas. This isn't including the 54 fire-centered Nightly Magatama that I could put on my Tempest build, and then I could hold like another fire weapon. It'd be like 204 fire. It would be like fucking great. It'd be fucking ballistic. It'd be shits, as my friend Archie likes to say. Anywho, that being said, that's a tri-element build, or the things centered around it would make it a tri-element build, with one thing being the focus and then having a secondary and then a third. That way, if I'm in a dungeon and the boss turns out to be a holy weak, I'm not screwed. And if the boss turns to be weak to fire, I can be like, oh, okay, well I got his answer with it. And then if the boss happens to be weak to wind, okay. So I cover multiple grounds with one build, so I'm not constantly switching my mags out between each and every single dungeon. Because if you're a player, this is my sole belief, if you're a player that has to constantly switch their mags depending upon what you're doing for every single dungeon, and you're like, oh man, the boss is not weak to dark, so I gotta change it on my dark build to get to the wind build because that's what the boss is weak to, then in some capacity you're failing as a player. That's my sole belief. You're failing somewhere in your versatility. You may have multiple builds, but you don't have builds that are just all around jack of trades. I believe every Onigiri player should have at least one build that is a jack of all trades. Now, it's not your strongest build, it's not a focus point build, but it's a jack of all trades. Why do I think Onigiri players should have this? So, if you're testing out a dungeon and you're not sure what the boss is weak to, you don't stumble over yourself. Now, you may not be able to kill the boss at a faster time than if you go into it next time, knowing his weakness and knowing information, but having that jack of all trade build, basically a neutral build, as my friend Archie likes to say it, you'll be prepared in some of a sense. Now, in the army, it's always said, come prepared, be prepared for whatever that may happen. That way your center point, your focus, you're prepared, you're good, you're ready. Now, since you'll be ready for things like that, you won't be so left in the dark. Even if you're left in the dark literally, you won't be completely caught unaware of the situation that's in front of you. That way you're not sitting there looking like a retard. Really, nobody wants to look like a retard. Trust me, I know that from experience. Now, aside from having a build that's like all around, let's kind of like shift back to what I think is recommended. Now let's shift back to those pay-to-win mags, because it is a center topic and I just want to kind of get them out of the way fully. Let me make it clear, I don't like them. I have one, it's a Jade Crest, but I don't like it. It's an Magatama. And even if I were to make it a mod mag, still in my opinion, it's an Magatama. It's a mag that ultimately it does its job, but it doesn't do it to the point to where that a mod mag build could outdo 3 Ryatsu Tempest. It won't. It just won't. It 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 can't tell me any different. It just won't do it. A high tier mountain build does not need a pay to win mag. Let me say this again. Any high tier mag build, any build in this game, if it is strong enough, you won't need a pay to win mag. Let me put it this way. Pay to win mags are like training wheels. That sounds insulting for those that have gone out of the way to make the mod mags, but let's be real here. If you had a mod mag, right, that means there is a Magatama within your build. It's just not fitting right. You won't have a 4th mag that would make your already existing build even stronger, so you use the pay to win mag. Actually, again, I don't mean this as an insult, but it's kind of like a crutch. That's my opinion. Let me make that clear. That's my opinion. If you want to run with a pay to win mag and you're running with me, that's fine. But I reserve the right to have my opinion. Now, does that make me think that you're an overall bad player? No, but that does make me think that you lack in that certain area if you have to use that mod mag to do any kind of decent damage. Yes, it does. Now, without mentioning any names, let me point out a build that I think is incredibly bad. I saw somebody with a Skyrending Tempest, an Aqua Mod Breeze mag, a little Aqua Breeze mag, like the tinier one, the one that you get straight from the 9 Koropon, and then a Wind Mastery. Now, while the crit force was excellent, it was at 254, the skill force was lacking. Because you only get, at max, 170% from a Tempest, but you're not going to go below half health with a Tempest, practically, because you're usually, if you have a Tempest already, you're using weapons that say, hey, if you go below, 40% health or 35% health, I'm looking at you, Rev 3, it's going to cut your attack. It's going to nom your attack. Now, this person did have certain weapons to where he could get more SF, like a Thunder Tusk. But the thing is about the gargoyles, they lack an attack. They were meant for a time and period of Onigiri where they were just good enough. Now, they're not altogether bad weapons, they're just a little outdated. That's just the truth about guards. They're outdated weapons. Now, continuing on, the person decided that Tornado Drop and Slicing Slugger was the best thing for this build. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the skill force before I get into those skills themselves. So let's get into it. So 120 skill force, practically 170 altogether. If you want to talk about just the Tempest alone. Now with the Wind Mastery, the person was 128. Let me make that clear. So with a Wind Mastery, he would only be getting 125 skill force. That's if what he put on the mag didn't give him skill force like Confining Terror. Like my specific Wind Mastery mag I have out right now gives me a 14 extra % skill force. So I'm level 130, so I get 150 skill force from this mag alone, but I also get an additional, what did I say, 14%, so I get 164% SF from this mag alone. That's a lot of fucking skill force. It's almost matching how a Tempest is. It's in fact almost matching a Prodigal pay to win mag. It's almost matching that, and it's also giving me wind. So a lot of people are saying, well, you wouldn't have to do that with a pay to win mag, you could just automatically throw whatever it is you wanted on it. Shut up. I'm making a point here. I'm proving a point. Now, another thing. So, let's continue on with his build. Theoretically, how it would go without me analyzing it all day. So, 125 skill force, along with, what did I say, 170 for all things considered. That's 295 skill force. All things considered, that's it. There's no more skill force. So, let's go to his weapons. His highest class weapon that he had that would give him the most wind, his rev, the most skill force, his rev 3. So he'd get 70%. Now we have the math here. We have 170% plus 125. That's 295. without getting into his accessories, because his accessories may give him skill force. Without getting into those, 295% skill force plus the 70, that's 365. Now, I will let y'all know that that is a good measure of skill force to have. If you have 350 skill force or higher, that is a good average amount of skill force. But that is not the only weapon he has. He has a Thunder Tusk, which will go up in HP depending upon how low his health goes, but it's missing and lacking in that attack and slice element. Now, with his Rev 3, he does get 50 slice, and he gets 10 more slice from each Yoshishine mate he was holding, so that's 70 slice on top of 165 wind. But you're only getting, what did I say, 365 skill force? And I don't know what his critical was. It could have been very high, could have been decent. This could be a good, decent build for all I know. But here's the thing. Here's where he starts missing out on damage opportunities. While it is 254 crit force, how often are you hitting crit? And what's the damage you do anyway? Now, I haven't seen the build being used. It could be very, very powerful for all I know. But it's 165 wind. And then he has a 50 fire. And every other element he uses, it just wouldn't be practical. Because even if you were to equip a Flame Tusk, you get 110 fire. Sorry, it's not a practical build. You're starting to cheat yourself in certain elements just to bring up one element. Now, let's talk about the skills he's using. Slicing Slugger. Really good skill. Love it to death. However, it does lack in certain areas. If you use Slicing Slugger and you think that it does good and that it's going to out DPS, if you think two Slicing Sluggers have the potential to out DPS double Twin Blade Slash 7 and 6, you're sorely mistaken. Why is that? I used Slicing Slugger 7 and 6 on the Frog and Lancelot. Using those two back to back, I was hitting damage caps. Don't get me wrong, I was hitting damage caps. Sometimes I'd hit double damage cap, but sometimes I wasn't. So Slicing Slugger, to me, Slicing Slugger is essentially a crossbreed between Bluefang Blade and Visual Hall. Let me say it again. It is a crossbreed between Bluefang Blade and Visual Hall. It's like Bluefang Blade because it kind of, sort of tracks your enemy depending upon where the fuck you throw the thing. And so it doesn't really home in like Bluefang Blade, but it is kind of like Bluefang Blade in the fact that it's a projectile and it's wind-based and slice-based, kind of like Bluefang Blade. But that's where the similarities stop, and they are no longer similar in each other's way. Now, continuing. Huh. I screwed myself in that Oni dungeon. Anyways, I'm getting distracted here. This is what happens when you talk a lot and then you have like ADHD because, you know, lack of sleep. Anywho, let's continue. You need to get double grip. You need double fucking cap in order for this thing to reach its max potential. And even if you put it on a weapon that capped with it once, like say like you got a 10 mil and then a damage cap to follow it, right? So 10 mil and then 9 mil. But let's say like it hits 20 mil, right? Right. Let's say like it hit like around 20 mil. You know what's funny? You had to do Slicing Slugger 7. Slicing Slugger 6 can hit damage, double damage cap, but that's a much lower chance of it hit double damage cap. Believe me, I know. I tried, dude. Anywho, Twin Blade Slash 7 and Twin Blade Slash 6 are much faster when it came to the Frog. Now, I'm just talking about the Frog specifically. There are certain enemies that won't sit still in order for you to do this shit. But Twin Blade Slash 7 and 6 were so incredibly sufficient that I could probably do the dungeon again with a different setup and probably even get around 2 minutes and 50 seconds or 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It was really fast because with every Twin Blade Slash I was doing from 2 mils to 5 mils. Now Twin Blade Slash, I believe it hits like 6 or 7 times. So even if you hit, let's just say it was 5 times, right? And you hit 3 mils 5 times. That's a good average. You'd be hitting 15 mil as your average number. So, what about if you threw a slicing slugger and you threw another slicing slugger? Well, we just established the fact that on average, you're averaging 15 mil per full combo. Now, this isn't going with the fact that you're hitting 4 mils too, sometimes you're hitting 2 mils, but the amalgamations of those numbers can exceed just that 15 mil. You could be hitting 25 mil at the highest. Even if it was slicing, twin blade slash hitting 6 times only, if you were to hit 3-5 mils, that's 15 mil right there. Even if you hit a 5 mil and a 4 mil, that's 9 mil. And you say if you hit like a 3 mil, let's lowball it, even say 2 mil, you hit 11 mil right there. But that's only 3 hits. You got 3 more other hits to go. So you're hitting the enemy ridiculously hard with twin blade slashes 7 and 6, and they have a cooldown time like none other. They will outspeed slicing slugger. A good twin sword user like myself will basically get rid of the niche thing that is slicing slugger. It is quick, it is efficient at killing the enemy, but twin blade slash 7 and 6 are kind of like fully automatic machine guns. They just don't care. They will at the enemy, while slicing slugger is like a burst. It's like a burst, but it shoots 2 bullets at a time. It goes pop, 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 pop. What do you think is going to outspeed? A good twin blade slash 7 and 6 with the right build, or just the pop, 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 pop? Now, of course, people could argue like, well, you could put that on a Zenith instead of a Rev 3, and what about Gale? It could hit consistent damage caps, and it could outdo what you're doing. It very well could. I could be completely wrong, but no, just no. Because even if you were to hit consistent damage caps, now let's say like you took that wind build, right, that was hitting consistent damage caps with the slicing sluggers. What about if you use twin blade slash 7 and 6 with that very same build? See what I'm saying? If it's not sword centered, you know, let's just say it's just not class centered and it's universal centered. In theory, the twin blade slash 7 and 6 are going to have higher damage potential. It's like trying to compare. I know the perfect way to compare it. It's like comparing collapsing blade 7 to collapsing blade 7 on Odachi and axe and sword. Trying to compare that collapsing blade to the collapsing blade on twins. They have their different advantages, but there's a reason why darks on twins far exceeds the dark on Odachi, sword, and axe. Why? Because it may not cap. It may not cap. But believe you me, if you hit average numbers like I did, let's say like you hit at the highest 5 mils with your collapsing blade 7, and the lowest you hit was a mil. But if your build is good enough and you take it up on somebody who is weak to shit like that, they're good and they're cooked. You're going to outdo it with collapsing blade 7 and 6, other than the person who has collapsing blade 7 and 6 as well. That's a great comparison. If I made full sense of it, that's a great comparison. So twin blade slash 7 and 6 is greater than slicing slugger 7 and 6. This is coming from somebody who loves the skills to death, by the way. Just wanted to let people know. I mean, I could take it right now to the demo dungeon, and I'm sorry to say it, twin blade slash 7 and 6 are going to outdo slicing slugger on so many different levels. 1, durability. 2, cooldown. Twin blade slash 7 and 6 will always charge much faster than slicing slugger 7 and 6. Die. Sounded weird, right? But die. Die in the game, not in real life. Please do not kill yourselves. Anyways, die in the game and use a normal res and see what comes up faster, your twin blade slash 7 and 6 or your slicing slugger 7 and 6. Twin blade slash 7 and 6 is going to again charge faster, and I found out that secret today. And I'm sorry, they're going to outdo it. I put it on White Brilliance twin swords, for crying out loud. Now, see, here's the thing. They have a high attack, not higher than Rev 3s, but they have high attack plus the double crit modifier. So I was getting like 100 element modifier with the bonus damage plus 220 crit force, along with a bunch of other slew of things that was just going on for that build that just made it work. It just made it work. So I was able to hit the enemy hard, quick, fast, and efficiently. Now, the only reason why Slicing Slugger outperformed Twin Blade Slash 7 in the Katsui dungeon was because I got bonus damage with my Tempest. That was it. That was literally it. Because I got greedy bonus damage. Now, if damage cap was raised, this would probably be a much different discussion, and I'd probably be like, yeah, Slicing Slugger 7 outdoes Twin Blade Slash 7 and 6. But they're not going to do that because they want the multi-hit meta to always be supreme and always be godly. Oh well. So, that being said, let's get back to this guy's build, right? He has one Slicing Slugger and a Zunda arrow. You're already lacking in damage per second. You're not going to outperform anybody with that. And he has one tornado drop that I saw. So one tornado drop. Let's talk about tornado drop. Is it a great skill? It is. But still, will tornado drop 7 and 6? Will probably not outperform Twin Blade Slash 7 and 6. Again, cooldown cut. Tornado drop 7 hits a lot, and it hits like a truck. It could hit 20 mil plus, but so can Twin Blade Slash 7 and 6. And with Twin Blade Slash 7 and 6, you can roll out of the way because it acts like a basic combo. The only difference is that it's a skill that uses SP, and it has wind and slice in it. That's literally the only difference. Now with tornado drop, you have to go hoo-ha, hope the enemy doesn't move, and you can smack the enemy with a tornado drop, and you pray to God that it does all the damage that it's supposed to, and that during the combo the enemy doesn't move out of the way. As with Twin Blade Slash 7, you can move with the enemy as they're moving. So that's what I'm saying. We could talk about builds all days, ladies and gents, but let's do a thing right now. Here. Let's actually do a thing. So, I'm going to put on something that's kind of basic. Let's put on this mech headgear. And let's put on this roomy gargoyle. So we're going to do something here. Because this is even giving sword an advantage. Let's put on this fusion bear. And let's put on this wind mastery. And let's put on this chocolate and lychee. Now, you all probably already know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to grab these. It's my Slicing 7, 7 and 6. Then 5-tailed dragon helmet, white blades. Then I had it around here somewhere because I just made the modifications to it earlier. Right here. There's a weapon I hardly use, by the way. This weapon here. So, got the tornado drop. See how long that takes to charge? And see its cost? See, now watch, I can do this. But, as y'all can already tell, there's a disparity, you know? Boom. 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 See how long that took that for certain things to charge up? Now we can look. We can look to see if we got a tornado drop 6. That way we can make it a little bit more fair. I have all these axe skill cards. Because I never use them. I doubt I have it. If it hasn't showed up now, it's probably not going to show up then. Okay, anyways. We are going to go to the demo dungeon. Yeah, let's go to the demo. Let's go to the demo dungeon. If the game doesn't crash me. Do, 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 do. Now, mind you, twins are going to be at a slight disadvantage because they will not have the Ibaraki Summer Sky accessory, which gives them an additional 10 slice and the lightning modifier, things like that. So let's keep that kind of drawback in mind. And it's in the fact that Sword and Odachi are actually getting the upper hand, so to say. They are getting the upper hand. Which dungeon would I like to go in? Well, I would like to go into a mount dungeon, specifically Ifrit, because everybody else just kind of wants to get in my way. The horses will lag up the server. Makami, I trust them to an extent, but Ifrit just goes growl growl, so he won't get over anything I'm trying to say. All right. So first off, let's test Slicing Slugger. Whack. Damage cap. Whack. Let's do it again. Okay, so we got a damage cap. Embarrassing. Okay. So as you can see, Slicing Slugger 6, even on the weakest of the Darumas, won't always damage cap. Slicing Slugger 7, very consistent. But as you can see, Slicing Slugger 6 won't always damage cap, even with a really excellent wind build. Now, mind you, this is a universal wind build. Mind you. I mean, I could put on Tempest right now, but the game would let me. No, it won't. Okay, yeah. This is just using this build. I bet if I did use, you know, watch this. Boom. See? Double damage cap. This is to kind of go with my analogy here, my example. So double Slicing Slugger, doing damage caps and shit. Now let's do Tornado Drop. Did you see that? Let me try this again, so you know. Okay. So Tornado Drop there. Boom. It did cap. But see, it won't always cap. And those were really good hits. Remind you, these are really good hits. I'm not dissing the skill. But you see how the damage gets progressively lower? Kind of averaging between 1 to 2 mils. Let's just count how many times it does hit. Okay, it hits 4 times. 4 times, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, 2 more. So it hits around 6 times. Let's make sure about it. And we kind of got pushed back there. Let's try this again. Seven. Okay, so we registered that it hits around 7 times. At that time it hit 6 because the enemy got hit and pushed. 1 more. So it seems to have a delay. So it hits up to 7 times. But in everything that I'm seeing, boom, then 1 more clip, it's not doing the best. This is probably because it did get a nerf. Yeah, yes indeedy it did get a nerf. See now, that's 938, my Twin Blade /7 is maxed out at 543. Watch this. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? See all those high consistent numbers? Let's do it again. Look at that. Now mind you, these twins do not have the advantage. I'm using an accessory meant for swords and odachis. And look at that. It's already out DPSing my Slicing Slugger 7 and 6 combo, and I'm not even using Twin Blade /6. So now, let's see how many times Twin Blade /7 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hit 6, right? A consistent 6 times. Boom. 6 times. So we know that. Now let's hit him with a Twin Blade /6, and we know how many times we hit with that. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, see the same thing? Since every single time you use this skill, it kind of resets itself. Twin Blade /6 will recover faster than Twin Blade /7, obviously. But, look at that. Even with just Twin Blade /6, look at the damage. This is, by far, outperforming. Look at that. That is out-exceeding and outperforming the Slicing Slugger in every way. Well, this Tornado Drop in every single fashion. Now, I know what y'all are saying, well, this isn't the most accurate test. See, what about that right there? You just hit a 9 mil, like you hit a cap, and, you know, hit 8 mil as well. Yeah, but I could also come in here with Tornado Drop on my Rev 3. I mean, not my Rev 3, on, like, different weapons, and probably hit fucking high numbers, too. Slicing Slugger just seems to work. I mean, Tornado Drop just seems to work better. See, now if I hit multiple enemies with this, this is a good thing for that reason. But see how on even the little enemies, it hits 7.1. See what happens when you don't hit them with the center tornado, though? The actual slam down of your sword, it won't do as much damage. And the skill has a slow charge time. And 1 damage cap with preceding 2 mils will not out DPS this right here. See? See how I hit that 9 mil? Now mind you, we could put this on a, you know, White Brilliance twin main sword, but look. This right here is already outperforming yeah, it's going good. I'm also streaming at the same time, so please really join this side for me. I was just also proving a point at the same time. My friend Ted has joined.
Y'all hear me?
I know.
Yeah.
Hi. Assuming that I got my audio sharing thingy on, where it shares my party audio.
Assuming this much.
Assuming that much, but even so.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was just kind of proving the fact that Tornado Drop on sword, it is a great skill, but
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a good skill.
Without a doubt, I don't have Slicing Slugger, so without a doubt, it's going on my Gale eventually when I'm in.
But I was also kind of proving the point also that it doesn't outperform. It doesn't outperform. Like Tornado Drop 7 and 6 won't outperform Slicing Slugger 7 and 6 because of the fact of just because of the deep, you know, the damage per second ratio, kind of like RPM, kind of like rounds per minute. Slicing Slugger just has a faster, I guess, reloading time, and just, you know, kind of like a burst rifle. It just goes pow pow. While Tornado Drop is kind of like a semi-burst. You know, it hits like about 6 times, I saw. That it kept hitting 6 times, to 6 to 7 times, depending upon if you hit the opponent just right. It's kind of just, you know, it's silly.
What opponent are you going against? Perfect.
Oh, I'm doing the actual demo dungeon, and everybody's weak equally. So, alright. That's what I was doing, just to make it fair. And, here was the funniest thing is, I even told my stream just now that Twin Blade /7 and 6 actually outperforms Slicing Slugger 7 and 6. And it will also outperform Tornado Drop 7 and 6 by default. Only because of the fact that, of its ridiculous cooldown speed. And, I mean, I kind of used my White Brilliances just now. Which, that's Yes, kindish unfair, so I'm gonna use my, where are they? I have them still. My Flame Talon Floggers, because they have 7 and 6 as well. Let's even... Where is the enemy? Oh yeah, I pushed all the big bullies to the side. My Ifrit is proud.
Proud boy.
See, I'm even hitting 5 mils and 6 mils on occasion. And these are just with floggers. It's not with gales, or it's not with revs, and I'm pretty sure a rev would be hitting much higher too. And the thing is, it's just like a machine gun. Once you get that mojo going, you know, it's like trying to compare Aqua Needle 76 to Misty Master 76. Like Aqua Needle will win out. Aqua Needle is just ridiculous. In terms of durability too. I think people are misguided in a lot of skills. Like, I know there are going to be people with needle because they haven't seen anybody hit like the with the beginning needle, they haven't seen anybody hit cap with it. When a bow user already proved that you can cap with it, and really often too. Not every hit, mind you, talking about builds in general, because to me it just seems like people think that, oh, because Slicing Slugger has a higher skill force ratio than Twin Blade / 7 and 6, it obviously means that it's the superior skill. No, all it means is that it's easier to cap with. But Twin Blade / 7 and 6 have a higher damage percentage ratio. Like, they have higher potential, because if you make the perfect build where you start capping with Twin Blade / even just once, you're going to outperform Slicing Slugger. And I already hit like a nearly damage cap with 1 Twin Blade /. So in that particular instance, I was already outperforming my tornado drops and things like that. And the thing is, I put the mech headgear on, the thing that mainly helps out Odachis and swords, and not the internet connection quality is currently not sufficient for broadcast gameplay. Well, I'm about to end the stream anyway, so it doesn't matter. But basically, it was kind of like, it was even hurting my twins, because I have a much better twin sword accessory, the Ibaraki Summer Sky, that gives you like 5 dex plus twin sword affinity on top of attack, on top of slice element and lightning element, which my white brilliances go off of. So it'd be a much better accessory rather than just getting 10 extra crit force. So even in Slicing Slugger in general. Now, I guess I won't say Odachi, because we do have Fierce / 7 and 6, and it's far easier to cap with a Fierce / than it is a Twin Blade /. So I guess that's neither here nor there, but I really think that Twin Blade / 7 and 6 can still outperform Fierce / just depending on the scenario. I prefer Twin Blade / 7 and 6 over Fierce / though, and this is coming from an Odachi main. Just because of the fact that, you don't get interrupted when you do Twin Blade /. You can be interrupted during Fierce / which is the most aggravating thing in the world. If they put that same kind of crap on Fierce / Sublime, gonna have a talk with Blue Boy. But I was also talking about other builds in general, and how I think the pay-to-win mags are more of a crutch than they are a help, because all that's telling me is that your build is lacking in that element, number 1, and number 2, you can't find a good enough 4th mag to help you out to make your build just overall superior. And that's the way I've always seen a lot of pay-to-win mags, just kind of like a crutch in certain sense, because even though the Purgatory mag, and I know, that would probably offend a lot of people, make people mad for me to call it a crutch, but that's just my personal opinion. That's how I view it too. When I use my mountain build that has the mountain mag, I just see it as a crutch for now, kind of like temporary training wheels. And so, I don't know, that's just my opinion on pay-to-win mags. And there are other good builds out there, like using a Fused Bear, a 2-attack Star Tempest, and a Chocolate and Lychee, and 2 Rumi dolls. That's a really good, well put together build. Because it's just... it's going to hit cap no matter what. it's just strong. It's a strong build. Because that's like attack, and then element, and then crit force and skill force all put into one build. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I think I'll end the stream there for now, because I feel like I've proven my point just about comparing builds for now, for the time being.